welcome back to SportsKhabri with me, Aradhi and Rishi. Copa America final time as well. Bro, Rishi, you've been the sort of guy who's been waking up for these and keeping track of them. Um, Before we discuss the final itself, just sum up how the tournament has been for you so far in comparison to the Euros, maybe.
In comparison to Euros, I would say it's a lot more. If I had to describe in one word, I'd probably say brutal. That's pretty much how almost all Copa America games and almost all South American games go on. I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe the refs are just way too lenient. They can't get a hold of games, but you just see a lot of fouls or a lot of rough, dirty tackles that are allowed in the Copa America games. Like, I'm pretty sure at least 70% of them get flagged in, say, European competitions. So even, like, you see, most of the fouls or most of the red cards are the most blatant, or it would, like, in fact, sometimes the yellow cards are also red card worthy. That's how, in like, that's the extent to which the physicality goes. And a lot of coaches, a lot of players have been criticizing the conditions of pitches, especially, and after the semifinals, you could hear even Jesse Marsh and even the Uruguay manager were Bielsa was also they were also complaining the quality of pitches were not good. It was too dry, it was too uneven. And they were criticizing the CONMEBOL, the association. They were saying they should have dealt with it better. But from from an Argentina fan perspective, it's been really good tournament so far, because usually you'd have, like, from a fan perspective, you'd have a little bit of hope that, okay, it's going to be Messi carry job. It's going to be someone having to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But for the first time in a long time, I've seen the team, contribute a lot more. It's not reliant on Messi anymore. Like, it's been, in fact, it's the other way around. Like, the team has worked so hard that even when the first time in a long time where Messi hasn't had a great competition, it hasn't looked like, Argentina have been horrible or have been bad. They fairly seemed comfortable. They haven't been thoroughly tested. So far it's been a comfortable tournament, and I think it's safe to say that Colombia will be the toughest test they face this tournament.
I mean, before I go to Adi, just what have you made of Colombia? Because there's been a lot of chatter about them. They're going to this match unbeaten, and yeah, what have you made of them? They've all it's been spoken that they've been really good. James Rodriguez sort of seeing some weird resurgence in his late in his career as well. So, were you impressed with Colombia? With what you saw in the semifinal?
I mean, to be fair, Colombia haven't lost in the past 29 games. And especially when you're playing in South America, you're playing against the Copa America teams. You have a very few select teams who are consistently very good. If you want to talk about South America right now, you can say maybe Brazil, Argentina, and then Uruguay. Colombia are the only players, only teams that have been playing well in terms of the Copa America and in South America. And I think with Colombia, uh, they have very good talent. I think they have very underrated talent. They have a lot of experience over the years. They've had a lot of players who've been playing in the top leagues, from the defense to the attack, right? And they have some good young talents coming up, in terms of John Duran, etc. And you look at their attack, they have very, very, again, experienced attack, with Diaz, James Rodriguez coming back, as you said, his resurgence, playing, I think, his best form of
Six assists and a goal.
football.
Six goals.
Yeah, exactly. And Colombia, the highest goal scorers this entire tournament. They, in history of Copa America, they have scored 12 goals, come to the finals. They've dominated all the teams they played, dude. They had a tougher run into the finals compared to Argentina. They played Colombia. They played Brazil also. They played Uruguay, sorry. And they also played Brazil in the group stages. And they could have beaten Brazil also, right?
Yeah.
So taking into context, I think this game, me personally, I would actually put Colombia as the favorites coming into this
Okay.
thing, because Argentina haven't been tested, actually haven't been tested this entire tournament. They played very easy fixtures compared to what Colombia has to go through.
100%.
And the last time I remember Argentina playing any competent team was Uruguay, where they lost 2-0. They got dominated out of the park against Uruguay physically, and that's what I think it's going to come down to, because the last time they played Uruguay, they see, the thing is, one thing Argentina got lucky in the World Cup was because they never faced any South American team, and South American teams are very physical in terms of dominating you, not in terms of technicality but physically. Argentina, in my opinion, have the highest caliber of technical players, entire team. You look at the players right from Messi, Di Maria, even Julian Alvarez, all technical players. You look at the midfield, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, technical players. Defense also, we really think both Romero and Martinez on the ball are very good. And Martin is also pretty decent. So you look at the entire team; they're very good in terms of technical abilities. But then I look at them, in terms of their physicality, they're all very short. You look at their entire team; it's a very short team. Even the centre backs, Romero and Martinez, they're not the biggest of people. Then coming against a physical striker and physical team, such as Colombia, it's going to be very tough, and that's why even though it's going to be a one-off game, I still would put Colombia as the favorites. Because the last time, as I said, they played against Uruguay, they struggled a lot. They didn't create much chances against the Uruguay. I remember they lost 2-0, and I think it's going to be a very similar game, compared to the last time.
Rishi, dude, what do you make of both these teams in their semi-final matches, Argentina and Uruguay? And I think Munoz is the only one missing for this game. There's no other suspensions to discuss or injuries.
Yeah, you're right, Rao. So Munoz is the only suspension, but I think that's going to make a huge difference for Colombia, because he's scored twice this tournament. He's assisted once, and going forward, he was actually like they were trying to attack, or he was trying to push from the right side. So he was bombing up and down, and the left back was, more or less staying back. Like throughout the tournament, it was Daniel Munoz who was bombing front, like up and down, and he was covering a lot of ground as well. So for him to miss, it's going to be a huge miss. But at least like their backup Arias is also not bad. He's played the top level for a long time. He's still playing for Monaco. I think and in fact, even when he got sent off around halftime, the second half, Arias came on and he put in a decent display. They were very disciplined, and like Adi said, they're a very physical team, Colombia. They have tall players like Davinson Sanchez, Jefferson Lerma, John Cordoba, and in fact, James Rodriguez, the way he's shown outclassed everyone in this tournament, is his delivery has been really good. Whether it be from free kicks, whether it be from set like corners, I think the last game also against Uruguay, they scored from a corner. Like James Rodriguez put the ball in and left Lerma headed it in. The same happened in the quarterfinals against Panama. I think 2 or 3 of his assists were directly from crosses. Either the second ball went in or directly the header going in. So it's both an advantage for Colombia, at the same time a disadvantage for Argentina, because probably the tallest player for Argentina might be, Christian Romero, and he himself is not that tall. So Argentina are in general a very, like Adi said, a very technical team, a very high energetic team, but they're not someone who can be out muscled. Probably their most physical player will be Rodrigo de Paul, who will probably be an average player in terms of physicality when it comes to this Colombian side. So it'll be all about how Argentina can, hold up against Colombia when it comes to the physicality. But they sure have players who can like outwit the Colombian players, because even in the quarterfinals, even in the semifinals, you could see that Colombia, their temperament, they were very hot-headed. Like, and the moment any 50-50 goes in, they would leave a leg. They would, they would let the players get affected. Like, they were often very rattled. So, and Argentina have players who can, get under the skin. They can like get the better out of the Colombian opponents. So it's really going to be about who's going to hold on to their nerves better.
Yeah. It's a weird one. And Rishi, like, what are you expecting? Like, who do you want? Who do you think will come out on top in this game? Because I know you're obviously you have biasness, but leaving the biasness aside, from a neutral
Oh,
perspective.
really? I can't imagine what team Rishi supports, bro.
No, see, the thing is, like right from the beginning, like, before the tournament started, there was a lot of noise and chatter about Colombia going in, because the last team to actually beat Colombia was Argentina. That was a long time ago. And since then, the manager has changed. A lot of players have moved on. Though, and James Rodriguez is one of very few players who, stuck to who still continued from the previous regime. And he's having an unbelievable tournament. It's almost as if the previous Colombia sides are, almost unrecognizable. The way they move the ball quickly in midfield, especially, they don't try and, hold the ball a lot. They have very physical players in John Duran. They have runners in Luis Diaz who will just take the ball, who will win the second ball and just run at defenses. Even Uruguay for the first half, that's what Luis Diaz was doing. He got the ball, he was running at them. He got the ball, he was running at them. So I think Colombia going into this game, like, of course, I'm very scared of how Colombia are going to play, because they're going to be very brutal, and they are coming in with a lot of confidence. And Argentina, on the other hand, they have a lot of pressure on them, because although people will say that, okay, Colombia have had a better tournament, Argentina will be framed ultimately as the favorites, the World Cup, the world champions. So they'll have a lot of weight on their shoulders to carry as well. But I feel Argentina, at least to the benefit of Argentina, they have a lot of players who've come in handy. It's not just been dependent on one or two players. You see, this time Lautaro Martinez has come off the bench and scored a few goals. Like Alvarez, he is starting most of the games he's played well. I don't think Argentina have conceded a goal whenever Lisandro Martinez has been on the pitch. And the partnership of Lisandro and Romero have looked really good. And when it comes to midfield, the whole three of De Paul, Enzo Fernandez, and McAllister, they press together. They're a very hardworking midfield. So for the first time in a long time, I actually feel confident from a team perspective, that I know that, okay, even if Messi has, if he doesn't have to pull a rabbit out of his hat, the team can do okay. Like, for the first time, we have enough players who can, pull up their socks and be like, yeah, we don't need him to actually come and rescue us. We have enough within us. We're good enough to actually compete, even if Messi is having an off day. From that perspective, it's a really reassuring feeling.
Interesting. Adi, going into this, any favorites for you, Colombia and Argentina?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. See, the thing with Argentina, even if it's defensive, I think it's a two-way street for them. I think defensively, I think they're yet to be tested properly. Uh, I I think they only conceded one goal this entire tournament. I think that was in the quarterfinals, if I'm not wrong, right? And when they did concede that goal, I don't remember, against Ecuador, if I'm not wrong. It was a very, how can I say, it was like a physical type of goal, because it was just a cross from deep,
Yeah.
and the defenders just couldn't, go up to it, and the player who scored. It was from very, very, edgy goal. It was not a well worked goal. And I remember the last 5-10 minutes against for Argentina, they were trying to sit back the entire game. They considered a lot of chances, especially they considered a lot of crosses. They could have considered, a certain amount of goals against Ecuador, but they scraped through the game, whatever. And I think that's one thing where they've been struggling in terms of defensively. See, that's the thing. That's what I was trying to say. In the World Cup, they got a bit lucky because the teams they played against were not physically that strong, right? Coming into this so-called Copa America, I still believe they haven't faced the toughest side, because Brazil had, it's like that England thing where, like, Argentina got the easier teams. They had to play teams like Canada, and Brazil and Uruguay, Colombia were all on the other side. So I think this will be suddenly a higher level of football they're facing compared to what they faced this tournament. They struggled once against Ecuador also. And one more thing is, they don't create much chances when it gets physical. That's what I'm trying to say, because with Colombia, they're going to be a very, if Colombia is going against Uruguay, who I think is a very, very physical team, they've always played with that dirtiness, with that aggressiveness, as I said before. And coming into this game, that's what they're going to face again. They're going to face a physicality, because Colombia easily went toe to toe in that terms of physicality. And when I talk about physicality, it's not just aggression on the pitch, but it's also that off the ball, just being more strong, rugged, etc. And Colombia is going to do that to them for sure. I'm not going to sit and say, Argentina can't take it, because they did take it even in the World Cup. For example, against Netherlands, like, that was a dirty game, then they still play through it. And we can see that they can do it. But my only thing is, once the game gets very edgy and dirty, the thing is they don't. For them, it's tough to create chances, and that's very important in place, especially in the finals. If the game gets too difficult, if they concede a goal, and I'm sure Colombia will be more aggressive. So it really matters on the gameplay. And I worry about Argentina being able to come back from behind or come back needing to score a goal. And if Colombia gets very aggressive, very tight in midfield, I think they'll struggle in terms of creating chances, at least good chances. Because, for example, what can Plan B be for Argentina? They can't put in boxes into the box because that's some
Yeah,
football that they don't have. They don't have the dynamic itself. They'll have to play through the defense. They'll have to play through the midfield. And I think if the midfield is compact, it'll be very tough for them to create clear-cut chances. Maybe Messi, they still have hugely, talented players like Messi, McAllister in the midfield who can play and have technicality. But that's my thing. If it's going to get tough, do you have a plan B? Do you have a player who can just pull it out of the hat? Like, that's my thing. Like, I just don't think in that tough situations they can do it. Maybe they can, but it's just, I don't know. That spark is just tough to see it. And as I said, they haven't been tested this entire tournament in terms of the teams and the caliber of teams they played. And that's my point. I want to see how they face a rugged Colombia team, because both the strikers are very physical. I don't think, for example, for Colombia, if whoever starts, I think Cordoba will start.
John Cordoba usually starts.
He's also a physical striker, and if he's not working out, then John Duran comes in, and both are very physical strikers, and that's one thing where they might struggle. If again, we'll have to see how the defense, the centre backs take care of him, but it'll be interesting to see how they battle it out.
yeah, yep, yep. Well, I mean, it's very interesting. It's gonna be fun. But last question, Rishi, you think this is Messi's last Copa?
Yeah, dude. I definitely think this is his last Copa America. I mean, he's 37, and you can finally see that it's almost the age is almost catching up to him. Like he's not like even before where he wouldn't cover a lot of distance. You could see that he's able to even on the ball he's able to get that bursts. But like now, although he's carrying an injury, like the bursts are also lasting very short. And 4 years later, like I mean 4 years down the line he's going to be 41, and I realistically I don't think it's going to be possible for him to play another Copa America. I'm fairly sure this is going to be he's going to call curtains after this.
I mean, let's see. Yeah, guys, let us know if you think it'll be Lionel Messi's last Copa America. Also, let us know who you think will end up victorious in this year's Copa America final. Like and share the video, subscribe to SportsKhabri, and we'll be back.